Welcome back, brave souls, to Paranormal Nightshift, the place where shadows speak louder than words, where truth and terror walk hand in hand, and where the veil between this world and the next is just thin enough to let a few things slip through. I'm your host, Gideon, and I'll be your guide through the unexplained, the unsettling, and the utterly unforgettable. Each week we pull back the curtain to bring you true accounts from listeners who've encountered the kind of darkness that lingers long after the lights are back on. But before we descend into tonight's tale, I've got something just for you. A story that opens the door to something even stranger than ghosts. Visit paranormalnightshift.com and claim your free copy of The Birth of Dimensional Desperado, the first ebook in our brand new series. It's the origin of Buck Shadow Sheriff Freeman, a time-warped investigator with one boot in the present and the other chasing phantoms through the past. If you like your paranormal, with a side of time travel and ghost-forged legends, this is one you don't want to miss. But now, let's shift our focus back to this world, or what's left of it. Tonight's tale, The Spirit, comes from one of our listeners, Cole. What started as a mission of faith turned into a confrontation with something ancient, angry, and far beyond what he believed was possible. Hold your breath, dim the lights, and get ready, because what followed him home didn't come in peace. Now let's begin tonight's story. About 6 years ago, I was a missionary for my church. I'd been sent to a small, rural town called Chipley, Florida, and while I was excited about the work, I couldn't have imagined just how strange and terrifying this assignment would turn out to be. Like all missionaries, I was paired with a companion. For this stretch, my companion was a guy I'll call Adam. I'd met Adam before. He was chill and easy to talk to, and we got along well in the short time we'd known each other. But I also knew there was something different about him. He carried a certain weight in his eyes, like someone who had seen too much, or who didn't sleep quite as peacefully as the rest of us. I chalked it up to a rough past, something I figured he'd worked through. When I arrived in the area, I was surprised to find out we'd be living in an old run-down house in a part of town that felt off. It wasn't anything obvious at first, just that kind of place where the streetlights don't seem to work right, and the air feels heavier after sundown. Still, I settled in and tried to focus on the mission. After about a week of living there, Adam sat me down one night. We were just hanging out after a long day when he said, real casual like, "I should probably tell you something. I've been seeing spirits since I was a kid." I laughed at first. "You serious?" He nodded, completely straight-faced. "I see good ones, bad ones too. Not all of them are even human. Some are something else." At first, I thought he was just messing with me. I asked questions constantly, half joking, half intrigued. He'd point to corners of the room, saying things like, "There's one right there, it's just watching." I'd play along, teasing him, especially when he mentioned one spirit in particular. According to Adam, this one followed him home from a lesson he taught with his previous companion. They were visiting someone who lived in a trailer, and while they were mid-discussion, Adam said he felt it, a presence. He described it as angry, ancient, and intelligent. He said he knew instantly that it had attached itself to him, despite being in a moving car on the way home. "Most of them don't follow," he told me, "but this one did." He said the spirit was a man, possibly a soldier. He wasn't sure, but there were hints it might have been tied to some old war. Civil war, maybe. He also claimed it was deeply territorial, one of the only ones that ever got mad. And apparently, I had a knack for pissing it off. See, I didn't believe any of it, so whenever Adam would say, "It's sitting in that chair," I'd walk right over and plop down in it, smirking. "He doesn't mind sharing, right?" I'd joke. Adam would kind of laugh, but he'd always say, "You're gonna regret that, man. He's not happy with you." Despite my disbelief, weird things started happening. Every night, around 3 a.m., I would wake up with this overwhelming sensation that something was watching me. Not just a creepy feeling, but a full-body awareness that I was not alone. I never saw anything at first, just the silence and the heavy, suffocating presence in the dark. One night, everything escalated. We were both in bed, me on the bottom bunk, Adam on the top. It was pitch black, not even moonlight slipping through the windows. I drifted off like usual, but around that same time, 3 a.m., I jolted awake. I heard something above me, a creaking, shuffling, movement. I looked up, expecting to see Adam climbing down, probably trying to scare me again. He had a habit of sneaking around in the dark to freak me out, but what I saw wasn't Adam. Something with a twisted, devilish grin was crawling down from the top bunk. Its body was oddly fluid, like its limbs didn't quite move like a person's. I couldn't make out all the details, but the grin, that unnatural, stretched, inhuman grin, is burned into my memory. I thought maybe it was Adam pulling off an elaborate prank. My brain wanted to believe that, but when it reached the floor and turned toward me, it didn't come close. It walked past me and into the middle of the room. And that's when I saw it. In the center of the room was something I can only describe as a massive, floating sphere, a tangled mess of clothes and fabric, swirling around itself like a cocoon made of laundry, dripping with black ooze. It didn't make sense. None of it did. I shot up, heart racing. My mind was screaming at me to run, to scream, to do something. I turned to the top bunk, and Adam was still up there, sound asleep. I looked back at the figure and the sphere. That's when pure terror gripped me. I'd never felt fear like that before. It was paralyzing, heavy, almost sentient, like it knew me, like it was waiting. I didn't know what else to do, so I did the one thing we were taught. I raised my hand to the square and cast it out, once, then twice, then a third time. Each time I said the words with every ounce of faith I had, shaking, hoping this would make it go away. Then I shut my eyes, dove back into bed, curled into the fetal position, and clutched a picture of Christ I kept by my mattress. I didn't open my eyes again. Somehow, I fell asleep like that, still gripping the picture like a lifeline. The next morning, I woke up, and the picture was still clutched tightly in my arms. That's when I knew. It hadn't been a dream. I tried to rationalize it. Sleep paralysis, hallucination. But no, I could move. I could think clearly. I'd had sleep paralysis before, and this was different. Too vivid, too real. I never told Adam the full details right away, but soon enough, other missionaries came to visit, and without me saying a word, they all described the same thing. This place feels wrong. It's dark here. Something's not right. One even left early and called the mission president, who later transferred Adam and me to different areas, telling us to report any future encounters with dark spirits immediately. To this day, I'm not sure what I saw. I don't know what followed Adam back from that trailer or what it wanted from me, but it changed something in me. I used to be afraid of the dark, not anymore. Now I respect it, because I know. Sometimes something's looking back. And that brings us to the end of this chilling chapter. Cole, thank you for stepping into the shadows and sharing your incredible story with us. It's tales like yours that remind us that belief can be born not in comfort, but in confrontation with the unknown, and that sometimes what follows us home can't be reasoned with, only endured. If this episode left you looking over your shoulder or clutching your blanket just a little tighter, consider supporting the show. You can join us on Patreon for an ad-free experience, early access to episodes and exclusive content, including deep dives into the dimensional Desperado universe and future investigations of the strange, the forgotten, and the forbidden. Patreon members also get special perks, behind-the-scenes access, and maybe even a few clues about what's coming next. Not quite ready for Patreon? That's okay. You can still support us by subscribing to Paranormal Nightshift on Spotify and YouTube. And while you're there, drop a comment. Tell us what you thought about Cole's experience. Was it a ghost, a demon, or something in between? Your feedback doesn't just fuel the algorithm, it fuels us. Before you vanish into the night, don't forget to visit paranormalnightshift.com to grab your free copy of The Birth of Dimensional Desperado. It's the perfect way to dive deeper into the haunted world of Buckshadow Sheriff Freeman, a man who's chasing more than just ghosts. He's chasing time itself. And finally, if you've had a brush with the unexplained, whether it whispered from the shadows or stared you down in the dark, we want to hear it. Head over to paranormalnightshift.com and submit your story. You never know. It might just be our next episode. Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and stay tuned for more spine-chilling tales from the place where darkness speaks.